Alright, so this is for Communications 101. This is my persuasive argument or discussion about why you should be a Republican versus Democrat. Alright, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Buster. So that's enough audience members. Blair, if you don't mind, please hold this. Start filming me. Alright, so again, it's about Republicans versus Democrats. And why you should be Republican. With presidential elections coming up in the near future, there are going to be two major parties. Of course, you have that third party, the Independent Party, Green Party, whoever the heck it might be. A couple years back with Ralph Nader and whatever. But the two main political parties, candidates, are going to be Republicans and Democrats. Now, how I usually do it is I do focus on the candidate, but I typically go for the actual party itself. Reason being is because inside the party, whether it be Republican or Democrat, they have some core values which they hold true to. So even if one of the candidates, let's say the Republicans might lean a little bit towards Democrat, the rest of the party can pull them in and say, hey, look, man, you can't really do that, or we don't want you to do that because you are a Republican, you're being a little too Democrat right now. When it comes to presidential candidates and stuff, in order to get that high up, they have to go through primaries and things of that nature. And so the actual party itself has a lot of pull and control on that candidate. So I've been a U.S. citizen. I've lived through 3 Republican presidents, lived through 2 Democrat presidents, and from personal experiences, different living situations, going from very low class to I like to consider myself lower to middle class right now, and my father being higher middle class and so forth and so on. What did my family best was when a Republican president was in office. So that's why I vote Republican. At the age of 18, every one of you will be able to vote. You guys are all over 18, so you have a chance to vote now, and you will be able to practice your right as a U.S. citizen to vote for the president. So I'll explain the major differences between the Republican and Democratic Party. The first one to start off with is economics, and their basic principle of economics. So taxes should be fair across the board. No one should be taxed more because of their own personal success. That's how I feel. Alright? Let's say you got someone that's missing a friggin' leg. I'm not going to go ahead and cut off your leg and be like, hey, here. There's a leg that is cut off that guy. We're going to make everyone equal now. Alright? It doesn't work like that. Same thing with money. If I work harder, I go out there and I try and strive to be a better person, to be a successful human being or a successful person in my society, I should be awarded appropriately. I shouldn't have to compensate my luxuries. I shouldn't have to sacrifice, some of my, things that I have because I've worked so hard to attain that. And be like, you know what, it's okay, we're going to make everything fair, and we're just going to go ahead and take 50% of your paycheck, take nothing out of yours, give him your 50%, and so now everyone's equal and you both have the same living standard, even though he went ahead and decided to go get a career or went ahead and decided to go to college. Alright? And so with the Republicans, how they feel is that, hey, that's your money. Okay? It's your money. You go ahead and keep your money. We're going to give you the opportunity, we're going to make the playing field equal across the board, so that way we won't, if you succeed or you fail, it's on your own. It's not the government. Democrats, on the other hand, how they view economy is they view that they should tax a lot and have a big government. That this big government should then go ahead and try to make things equal. Should make these programs over here, make these programs over there, try to regulate this, regulate that. I'm not disagreeing with regulation. I'm just disagreeing with the huge government and the whole view on the economy with them. So taxes have generally increased whenever a Democrat was in office. Republicans usually don't raise taxes, and they usually provide much needed tax cuts across the board. And due to the differences between the two party views, Wall Street usually has better gains during Republican presidencies. The economy typically grows a lot more when a Republican's in office, just because they're not taxed out the butt, and the people that do have a lot of money, they go ahead and they go out there and they spend their money, and it helps stimulate the economy. Alright, so now we got the general idea of the economy and their principles based on Republicans and Democrats. I'm going to go ahead and move on to citizen intelligence. Every American is smart enough to make his own decision and doesn't need government to tell him how to run it. Alright, that's how I feel. I don't think that I need government to step in and be like, you know what, you're too dumb, just go ahead and take a seat and we got this. No, 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 no. don't hurt yourself about this. Just sit down. We got all this over here. Let us make the big decisions because we're smarter than you. And that's how I feel every time I have a Democrat in office. Republicans, they view individuals, again, going with the success and failure thing, it's on the individual. Okay? Whereas Democrats, they typically believe that they need a bigger government to help control everything, regulate everything, because the average citizen isn't intelligent enough to make his own choices. So Republicans view individual success and failure, survival of the fittest, essentially. If you don't cut it, you don't cut it, and you're going to have a crappy life because you don't cut it. The common man is smart enough to run himself. He does not need big government programs to run his life. Democratic view, communal support. Everyone pitches in and makes the less successful individual's life more fair. That sounds very similar to communism. Views only big government has the answers. Democrats also view that only the big government has the answers. That individual man is not smart enough to handle affairs. I just read that. Apologize. So that's the main thing about Republicans and Democrats about citizen intelligence. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and talk about government size. Simple thing. I've been saying this all throughout the whole thing. Republicans view a smaller government, which essentially equals less taxes. It doesn't take as much money to run a small government. And government should provide an equal playing field across the board. Democrats view a large government, equal more taxes. The government should make everything equal for the less fortunate. We're going to go ahead and go into the military. Republican view, they view a large military, increase military spending. Their philosophy is, hey, we're going to have a big army, we're going to give the military a whole bunch of money, and that way, even if we don't have to use them, it deters anyone else from coming and attacking us. Democrats, small military, decrease military spending. They like to do the diplomatic thing where instead of shaking the bigger stick in the neighborhood, they like to say, hey, look, let's just talk about this like rational human beings. Right to bear arms, Republican views. They oppose gun control laws, or stringent gun control laws, I should say, and are strong supporters of the Second Amendment as well as the right to carry concealed weapons. Democrat view, they favor more gun control laws and oppose the right to carry concealed weapons in public places. Now, I don't agree with the favoring of more gun control laws. Okay, one, it's an amendment, and number two, when the citizens of your country are able to carry guns and have guns on their person or at their house, it deters the government from taking advantage of its citizens. All right. So what ends up happening is the government doesn't try to get out of line because they know that citizens can uprise and rebel and stop if it happens. So again, to my conclusion, again with presidential elections coming up, you have a choice between Republicans and Democrats. I hope that this discussion has made you guys lean towards more Republicans opposed to the Democrat candidate. And I am a strong believer in government responsibility is maintaining a level playing field for all, the protection of the citizens against enemies both foreign and domestic, and the rights to bear arms. Every year it seems our deficit gets higher, employment increases, and the government takes away more of our freedoms. And when I go to the polls, I'll personally vote Republican. There's a button on top. Grab that one.